going to do a flight from Nelson down to Wellington in for the ILS for runway 34. We might do the DME circuit around, or we could just come straight from Mugu, which is our initial approach fix, straight down into the runway. So we're going to use 737-800. We're going to be using the bleeds off so we can get off the ground here in Nelson, as it's a little bit short. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Leave comments down below for any tricky approaches that you find tricky and you'd like me to give it a shot. So let's get into the cockpit and start the aircraft up ready for. Okay, so we're in the 737-800 now. As you can see, we've got the X-Enviro in. Weather's looking a bit 50-50. Not too bad, but we've got some clouds in the vicinity as well. So we'll go overhead now. We get the battery on and guarded, standby power is guarded, and ground power is on. We'll go to bat and ground power. We'll go overhead now. We'll get the navs to align. We'll test the flaps. We can test the flight recorder, which is set. Cover that. We'll get the max speed warning test. Stalls will do after everything's up and running, and we are now ready to go. So let's get our panel lighting on as we come back down to the aircraft, and we get one pump on and get the APU all started up, ready to go. We'll arm the emergency lights. We'll get our chimes on within the fastened seat belts, which are checked. Get the recircs on with the packs. APU brake can come off once the APU comes in, which is set. Flight recorder is auto, which is also set and checked. And what we can do is we get the front panels on and get ready for our departure route. Okay, so put the yoke back, which is checked. Overhead we can put on our position light, which is steady. Put the anti-collision on as well, which is getting ready to go. Window heaters can go on, which are also checked and set. Flight level today on the flight plan, we have got flight level 110, so we're going for just 10,000 feet, as it is a quick one. And elevation coming down into Wellington is going to be 41, so we can leave that at 50, which is set. Go over and get our nav lights with our panel, which are all set, and we can turn off the dome now, which is also set and checked. So the IRS is all ready for us now. So we're going to the FMC, get our positionings. Okay, which we'll punch in, get up from the left GPS, and we can get that all in, ready to go. In for our route now. We've got in for Wellington, November Zulu, Whiskey November. You can hear the wind coming down now with the rain. If you have a quick look, you can see that the weather's changing quite rapidly. So on the departure, we've got the Astra 2 Romeo, okay, which is in. We're going to leave for runway 02, which is also set for us. From Luzra, we're going to take the Hotel 267, which is going to take us down to Simsey. From Simsey, we've then got the Simsa 6 Alpha, so we're going to the arrival. Got the Simsa 6 Alpha, which is in. We're coming in for the ILS of 3-4, and on for the transition we've got Gupla, as you can see as we're coming down from the side. So we've got Gullit, Tannin and Goplu, so we're going to take Gullit transition from, and over on the transitions ready. So Gullit is where we're going to take, straight down for the 111. And then we've got the Delta 0710 and the Delta 284. Now at Mugu we could come in, as we were saying, we can come in, we're going to end up for a MAGA. But we could take one of the DMEs if we do a wing flight for trip report. We can get the orthos and see some lovely views as we come in. So we can take the Delta 01710. That way we can go over some land, which will be checked. And then we can punch that into the route, which is active. Go to our perf now, we'll get everything in. We've got 6.4, we've got 1.4 reserves, we only need 5 tons of fuel today. Over on the cost index coming out, we've got a cost index of 34. Over on our climb, we've got flight level 110. For the ISO, we've got 293054. That's going to give us our -6. Okay, which is set. On for our N1 limit, we're going to take flaps 10, takeoff and climb 2 can go in. On for takeoff, we'll take flaps 10, we've got 128, 129 and a 141 for V2. So there's 141, we can get the flight directors on. I'm not going to run through the checklist as we pretty much know what we are going to be doing. So You can see as we leave out of the runway, we're going to leave 02. Currently standing 172 at 1. Can't really believe that, but put it in. Takeoff speeds will be deleted, which is fine. So we'll get them back in. 141 V2. Center of gravity coming out. We've got 22.5. There, which is sat 375 on the trim. About that should be alright for us. And now we can go and get the APU ready to go. So we'll switch over the buses for the APU, get the yaw damper on, get all of our pumps on, we'll go to the APU gen, we'll get the electric hydraulics on as well, which are also checked. From there we are all ready to go. So leaving out of the runway, we'll be leaving out onto 003 and runway heading is going to be 198. So we've got 198 in, going for 1000 I think. Let's just have a look. So we're going for 11,000, which is set. Auto throttle can be armed, which is also set and checked, and we're coming out on the 198. Which is checked. So from there, as we've got everything all in, trans altitude is 13,000, so we'll stay under 1015 as we come through. We're not going to need the tug when we come out, so what we can do is we can go to our before start checklist. So we've got the auto throttle, which is armed. Leaving out, navigation wise, we don't need anything on the navigation front for us there. Coming in forward of runway, we've got the ILS and we've got Wellington in for the 112.3. Okay, which is setting. That'll come in once we start getting a little closer to the M. So, we go in as everything's all over and up and ready for us to go. Turn the packs off. Anti-collision light is on. Check everything else over. Stalls should be up and ready to go, which we can here, which are set for us. So, we'll now go to our before start checklist. Get the reserve gauge all ready. As you set 1015, which is in. 1015. And we've got 1015, which is also set. We're going to do bleeds off takeoff so we can get a bit more performance out. Anti-collisions on, engine starts can go to both, and we can get the doors closed ready for our departure. So let's go into ground service, we can close everything off, close the doors, and we'll now go for engine number 2. So you can see the start valve is open. N2 is increasing 25%, then inject fuel, and then we'll see how EGT starts to increase. Okay, so engine number 2 can now come in. Okay, so engine number 2 now is stabilising, and we can now go for engine number 1. N2 is increasing. Oil pressure temps come to life, 25%. Again, inject fuel, EGT will start to increase. And then once it should stabilise, we should get the engine cut out around 56%. So there's 21, inject fuel. We just checked. EGT is now starting to increase. N2 is coming to life, and N1 is slowly increasing. We've got 28.2% for takeoff. Now we're going to be coming out on a flaps 10, just so that we are ready to go. So now we've got that all set, we can go to our checklist just to make sure that we've got everything all set now for our departure. So get our before taxi checklist. Okay, so now engine number 2 and 1 are already and in. We can see the weather isn't very nice, so before taxi checklist we'll go overhead now. Generators 1 and 2 can go over, which are checked. We can go over to Gen 1, which is also set and checked. Pro Peaks can go on now, which are checked, along with that wing anti-ice. We don't need the anti-ice as we are currently 12 degrees, which is also set and checked. Packs can go to auto, which are set. Isolation valve is going to go off, and the engine bleeds, etc. are going to stay on as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically, as we've still got the APU on, we're going to leave everything as it is, and then just before takeoff we are going to basically switch off the engine bleeds and we'll close off the isolation valve, and then we'll be ready to go. So we are all set. We just test that quick, which is all good for us today. So final check, recall is clear. Engine start switches are continuous, which is set. After that, flight controls, recall, low display unit is off, so we get the low display unit off. Taxi lights are on, runway turn-offs as required, so taxis going to go on, which are set and checked. Auto brake can be set to RTO, and we are ready to go. So release the brake. We'll start to power on. The taxiway is a little bit short for us. Weather has deteriorated pretty quick as well, so it should be a scenic view. It was very nice with the orthos, so we should get a view. I'll come back and do another flight here definitely, so you guys can see the orthos that we put in as well. So the taxiway seems wide enough for us. Cabin lights, flight instruments, takeoff data. We've already got a set which we said was coming out 141 for V2. We've got 128 I think for V1. We'll check once we line up onto the runway. Cabin crew take 6 for departure. Okay, so as we cross over now, we can get our runway turn-offs on, which are checked. Strobes can go on as well, which are also set. Tell cabin crew to get ready. Drop down into flaps 5. And then we'll drop into a 10. Line up on the runway, ready to go. Okay, so we'll straighten ourselves out once we get on for the runway. So there we are now, we are all checked and ready to go. So let's get the auto throttle, which is armed and check, and get LNAV, which is pre-armed as well, which is also set for us, and we are all ready to go. So before takeoff checklist, we've got our takeoff data, which we said are coming out on the departure. Was going to be 128, 129 and 141 for V2, which is checked. Leaving out on the 198, we're then going to turn out and leave out onto the departure, which is going to take us directly up as we go to Snapper 003, which we're going to take in, and then we'll rise out as we get ready to roll. So, as we're ready to leave out, flaps 10 are set. We get our landing lights, which will be set, strobe lights are set, taxi lights are off, and transponder can go to TR8. So TR8, we can now get our weather radar on if it wants to work for us, which it never seems to. Okay, so we'll just get the terrain on, which is set for us. Taxi lights can now go off, landing lights are on and checked, and we've got loader on now just for visibility. So set for us, your damper can be set as well. For the bleeds off, we're basically going to leave the packs on, we're going to close the isolation valve, and we're going to turn off the engine bleeds, which are set. See the pressure decrease now. So that is us ready for our bleeds off. So we'll power up to 45%, just get the aircraft pre-rolling. Okay, release the brake, forward pressure on the yoke, and tow go.
80 knots.
Check. Throttle hold.
V1 rotate.
Rotate.
Positive brake.
Gear up. Check. Come to flaps 5 now, as we're going to get ready to rock and roll. LNAV's going to come in as we hit flaps 1. Winds are coming all over the place now as we come through, so we need to button up now. Through 10,000 feet now, we can turn over the landing lights, which are checked. Runway turn-offs can be turned off, which are set. Fasten seatbelts now can be turned off. As we climb up now and we run in, so we can turn the VNAV and allow that to go up to our climb speed. As we get ready to make that right-hand turn from Snapper to Simsey onto the 126. So we want to go to, when we get to Simsey, as it's going to be right here now for Simsey, we want to be going on to Simsey onto the 1111. As you can see, Simsey is going to come down to Simsey from there onto the 111. So, as we put in Simsey, usually you can get a course in. There we go, come down to Simsey onto the 111. Okay, which is set. So Simsey's in now, and we'll be coming down for 111. So, as we make that right hand turn to come down to Simsey, tracking on that right, as we need to come down 111, so then track from Gideon, which will bring us down by 11,000 feet now, and the aircraft is nice and calm. We've got 25 degrees bank, which is also set and checked. We don't have a VNAV, as the aircraft will now make its bank around, and then we'll travel inbound towards Silla.
Sobald unsere Vorbereitungen abgeschlossen haben, werden als erstes die Essen serviert, die bereits vor dem Flug bestellt wurden. Anschließend haben Sie auch die Möglichkeit, Speisen, Getränke sowie süße und salzige Snacks zu kaufen. Die gesamte Auswahl und die Preise finden Sie in der virtuellen Reisetasche. Wir können zum Beispiel noch rote anbieten, sowie auch warmes Essen. Da haben wir noch ein Pasta-Gericht mit Bolognese-Sauce.
So what we can do now, guys, is we'll go to our takeoff cinematics, and then I'll see you in the flight deck when we get down near to Simsa, ready to come in for the ILS for runway 34 onto the DME ARC. So I'll see you guys in just a sec. As we're just near our top of descent now, ready to come in for Simsy, as we'll be 5,500 above, coming down on our next fixes. We're going to basically drop down our MCP's altitude, so come down to 6,000. We need to be, actually come down to 5,000 because we need to be 5,000 once we come in onto that right DME ARC, which we can see is right in. Once we get to Muju, we're then going to roll around and come around onto the ARC. So leaving out on our top of descent, we can now go to our descent checklist. We'll get the METARs up as well for Wellington when we come down today. So let's get Wellington in. See what the METARs are as we come down into lovely Wellington. So 1014, which is QNH. So I'm going to put 1014, which is 1014 is going to be for flight level 150. So we go down to 1014 now. Okay, which is set the reserve panel as well. 1014, which is checked. Light rain and haze. 4,400 meters visibility. Temperature is 12. And on our winds, we've got 34023, gust at 45. So if we come down onto our weights, 10990 is for the ILS. Okay, which is going to be set in. Now we can set that in as well. Okay, 10990. We've got 341 for the course coming in. Okay, which is set. Okay, 341, which is set. Engine anti-ice is on. As we're starting to slow down now from 10,000 feet. You see where we're going to go into the arc as we come round onto our arrival. So for our weight is 59.1. Go in and get our fuel, so 4754, which is 7, so 59.58.4. Okay, which is going to give us 140, flaps 30. On for our landing performance, we're coming in for 3-4. See if we can put Gusts in on here, 34023. So, can't really do it. 1014 for the QNH. The landing weight is 58.4. VREV at 11. We're going for flaps 30 as well. Okay. So VREV 11 should give us 151. Should give us 15. So we're going to VREV 11, which will be set. And we're going to take max auto brake as well, which will be set for us coming through 9,005. We can get onto our descent checklist and get that all out of the way as we come down. So on for our descent checklist, anti-ice, we've got the engine anti-ice which is on. Landing altitude is checked 50, which we've got in. Airport elevation coming down is 41, so we'll leave it at the nearest 50, which is set. Recall, which is clear. Coming down now, we're going to be making that turn off of the 087 going to the 070, which will be checked, passing through 8,007. On for our restrictions, on for our speeds. We can see now that we're just coming up now for Mugu, or Jonah, Mugu, and then we'll go to the Delta Oscar 7010. Okay, so radio altitude with the minimums. We're going to be coming in on our minimums. It's going to be 450 for 426. Okay, which is set. QNH is 1014. We've got auto brake max, which is set. Altimeter we've got, which I said 1014. Landing lights under 10,000 feet. Fasten seatbelts can go on as well, so we are under 10,000. Landing lights can go on. Engine start switches can be continuous, which are also set and checked for us today. AP bleed can be off from earlier. Moving on to the 070 left hand turn now, which is set. Get the speed brakes open. 5,000 in. Once we come round to intercept, it's going to be 2,000 feet. So we've got 2,000 feet, speed brakes and get the speed brake armed, ready for us to go. 242 in as we're just skimming off the clouds. Nice to see a lot of cloud coverage in X-Enviro. Haven't seen a lot of cloud coverage as of yet. Passing through 6008 now, tracking onto the 070. As we can see, we've got them horrible winds as we're going to come down now into the runway. So we're going to make that left-hand turn, which takes the Delta 0710. Sorry. Then we're going to make that right-hand turn onto the arc, which will then bring us in and ready for the runway. So we're going to make the left-hand turn, which will take us down onto the 038 inbound for the Delta 0710. Okay, we've got VOR, which is basically 11 nautical miles over for us to the left. No speed brakes. And the 038 now, which is going to come in. And engine anti-ice can now go off. Okay, engine anti-ice is off, 038 can go in as well, which is checked. Come down to 5,000 so we can get the speed brakes in. Okay. That's going to be 5,000 feet, so the aircraft's not going to speed up too much more. Just open that speed now and get it right down. Well, that's something for you, mate. So we've got speed unrestricted as we're coming down now, 240, open the speed window, bring it down to 235. Okay. Which is set as we're going to hold 5,000 now before we break into the lovely clouds. There's the decel point as we go in. So we've kept it to 235, so then we've got at least 15 knot coverage if the winds do want to pick up for us, as we've got gusts as well, which are gusting. So the METARs down, as we can see, currently standing down in Wellington are 340 at 23, gusting 45. As we just skim over the cloud surface, we can go in and get the METARs in here so you guys can see it as well. So if we go and request it, so we've got November Zulu, Whiskey November. We'll send that off. Ready for us to come in once we backtrack round. That's when we're going to get ready to come in from the 038. And then we've got the DME all around for the 343 for Mega. Corsair in 341. Scattered 1500, broken to 2003, overcast at 3000, temperature's 12, as we've got 11 currently. I'm going to leave the anti-ice off, as we're going to get ready to go into that lovely right hand turn, which will then bring us round onto the arc, and then we can dip straight into the clouds. We've got showers. Light rain and haze. 348, we're going to backtrack in. I've just got the 341 ready for the arrival. So there's the 341, 2,000 feet. We can also check that we've got that in Umaga, and then we take that right hand turn, which will bring us down all the way before the arrival of the 341. So as we get ready now for our arrival in, 343 will go in. As we're going to swing around onto the arrival, then we've got booting. Let's have a look at booting. So there's booting coming down and 6.1, so your Mega booting 8 DME and then 6.1 DME from the localiser is where we're going to then come in to then intercept for the glide slope. So 343 at your Mega, and in a 341, so we'll just step back in 341 now, so we're going to make that right hand turn, and then we can start slowing the aircraft down and getting it ready for our arrival in. 25-degree bank, because things are going to start getting rocky as we pop into the clouds. For our approach check, this is our Tim's check for 1014, which is set. Localiser frequency, which is 10990, which we can now get switched over, which is checked. Currently got the Indian Light Bravo, which is there, 341, currently 13.4 DME out, which is set. As we slowly start getting the aircraft all ready to go, we're on the 235 on our speed. The approach will be armed, glass slope geared down, flaps 15 once we are currently around. So as we make that right hand turn now, we can see the sun just peer around onto the cockpit. There's our decel once we come in, which will be slowing us down for 190. So we're now currently following the right DME ARC. There's our decel, so we'll slow down, get the aircraft ready down into flaps up speed. Coming down in, we've got currently on our plus 11, which was flaps 3141, so it's going to be our 150 or 151 coming in. Okay. So 195, and from holding that in, pretty much going to come across. It's going to take us about the 226. There's 5,000 feet. As the aircraft's going to continue its descent once we pass the Delta 1150, which is where our decel point is. 4.3 nautical miles, currently 15 nautical miles out from the runway. Still holding 235 as we can get the aircraft prepared now and slowed down and ready for our arrival. So engine start switches now are continuous, which are set. We've got our landing lights which are on, which are checked. Seatbelt signs are on. And we're ready to come in. So 32 knots crosswind as we make our way down. So we'll have that on the headwind as well. Still currently around 20 nautical miles. Speed brake is armed, which is set, and we're coming in for flaps 30 and a VREV of 11. So VREV 30 plus 11, which is going to give us a 151. Here's the aircraft now. We're going to start to decel as we're going to start to slow the aircraft down to our flaps up, which will be set. Now we're going to speed brakes now as the aircraft's going to start to descend 2,000 feet to intercept. Following the DME ARC in, which is set, coming down to our flaps up. ,5,000 feet, still holding above 3,000 above by the time we get ready to intercept onto that right hand turn. So there's vertical deviation. You can see that slowly starting to decrease now. Once it passes the middle line, we'll then start to go into the descent and then follow the glide path of the vertical deviation to come down. So there's our next decel, which is 190. So we can start then configuring the aircraft. One for that right hand turn will be the 183 for Muga. So we'll start going through our flap settings, then drop down into a flaps 5. The Muga is going to currently be 10 DME out, so we can go into a flaps 5 once we hit Muga. 9 on the temperature, which is checked. As we get ready to go into that 341 turn. Okay, which is set. Carry out flaps up speed. As we're saying for 190, just under 5 nautical miles out before we make that right hand turn. And then once we're all configured in, we can get ready to go. We can see the localisers there, so we can get the localiser in at first to come in. Okay, there's vertical deviation now, so the aircraft is going to start its descent down. 190, we need to come in, so we can go down into flaps 1. Okay, so there's flaps 1 set. 2,000 feet is going to intercept glide slope 6.1 DME from the localiser. So when it says 6.1 DME from here, that is where we are going to be set to come in. Okay, we're going onto that right hand turn, so I'm going to drop down into a flaps 5, just to give us some more drag as we come round into that right hand turn. And Muju needs to be for flaps 5 anyway, 10 nautical miles, so we just get done early as we pop into the clouds, and now things are about to turn a little bit different than what it is now. So there's the glide slope in as well, so we can get the approach armed as we're passing through 4,400 feet, coming down to flaps 5, which is set. Following round onto the 341 now as we get ready for our approach. So we'll run our approach again. We've got the altimeter, which is checked for 1014. We've got the localiser frequency, which is the India Mike Bravo, which is set on the 341 degree course heading, which is also set and checked. Currently 14.9 DME now, waiting for the localiser to arm. Once the approach is armed and the glide slope is alive, gear down flaps 15, we've got auto brake set for max, engine start switches are set on continuous. There's a single channel now for the localiser as we come down 4002, holding flaps 5. Next decel point will be coming down. And as we get ready to rock in, we're ready to dip down into these clouds now, ready for the arrival. Passing through 4,000 feet. We're going to be leaving the Muju 2000. Then we're going to hold 2,000 feet all the way until we intercept the glide slope at 6.1 DME. So when we get 6.1 DME from the localiser, that is when we are going to basically get the aircraft all configured and ready to go. Passing 3.7. Flaps 5 are down. Currently 163 on our speed. As we're going to go down to 2,000 feet, which will be to intercept for the glide slope. Next decel point 183, then 17 below. So we are below 170 now. Only going to be going for 2,000, so we're not going to put the flap settings down anymore, as we're going to level off for 2,000 feet anyway. So our speed will come back to us, and we're still 10 nautical miles out. Landing lights are on now. We can get our runway turn-offs on as well. 1,000 to go, which is checked. Got 151 on our speed. Coming in, Vero 30 plus 11. Visibility is 4,400.
2,500.
2,500, which is checked. 2,000 we're coming in for. Then we're going to hold at 2,000 feet. Ready to intercept down into lovely Wellington. So we're holding our flaps 5 now, which we'll hold out from. 2,000 feet, which is in. Plane will hold now, VNAV altitude, so we can see the altitude hold basically now until we come in for the glide slope, as we've got 2,000 set on the MCP, so the VNAV won't go below 2,000 feet, and we've got it restricted down onto the FMC as well, 2,000. So glide slope's now starting to slowly come down. There's the runway in sight. So what we can do is, as the glide slope gets just a little closer for us, approach is armed, and we can now go flaps 15, gear down. there's a glide slope now. So we'll finish on the rest of our landing checklist. Speed brake is armed, which is set and checked. Approach is armed, flaps are 15, gear is down. Engine start switches are continuous and landing flaps will be set, passing through 1,800 feet. So currently 5 DME away. Go down to flaps 30, which is going to be 151. Landing checklist, go around altitude set, runway turn-off lights are on, which is set, landing gear is down, 3 green, autopilot as required and auto thrust as required as well. So minimums is 450 for 426, so 426, which will come up. So as we are all ready and set now, what we can do is we can release the autopilot and the auto throttles and we can get a little taste for the action. Okay, so we're currently following in. As it is a little rocky, the weather is a little bit temperamental coming down. Coming down for about 700 feet, just lower on our speed. 1,000 check.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Check. So as you see the wind's just blowing us over a little bit, we've got 26 knot winds. Got 151 coming in on our speed as we follow the glide slope down now. So we'll see what we make or break or the landing. Auto brake is at maximum as well, so once we touch down there's not going to be very little room for us to make adjustments. Coming down to red to wire, just pick up on our pitch a little. Get some left rudder in just a little to pull the aircraft over. Plus 100, which is checked.
Minimums.
Continue. Fly visually now.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brakes are low. And reversers are active. Okay, speed brakes can be disarmed. And auto brakes can be disarmed also. As we are now down in lovely Wellington today, so very quick stop as we came in and as we leave out on the runway. So what we can do is, as we are going to spin around now, make this right hand turn, speed brakes can be retracted, flaps can also be set. As we come off the runway now and get ready to join on for the taxi. So flaps are fully retracted, speed brakes are armed. Now what we can do is we can turn the auto brake off, get the landing lights which can go off as well, which are checked. Runway tunnels can go off, taxis can go on along with our strobes position, and the collisions are on, which are checked. And we can now make that right hand turn to come off of the gate. So there we are down in lovely Wellington, guys. What I'll do is I'll try and get back here when there isn't so much bad weather, and then we can actually do a proper flight and you guys can see the orthos as we come around, because that was the point of doing the DME at first, was to show you guys the orthos coming around off the mountains and flying over the airport. But needless to say, it was a good arrival in, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I'll leave you with the landing cinematics now, guys. You have a great evening and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.